Hey everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on my video. And I came in today with a little bit more celebrity tea. Now, this one involves singer Gladys Knight. Just recently, she had to file a lawsuit against her son concerning the Gladys Knight Chicken and Waffles restaurants. Now, back in June, Gladys Knight's restaurants were raided. Apparently, her son was cooking the books in there, not doing what he was supposed to do. And they came in, raided the restaurants, seized the assets, and now Gladys Knight's name is being dragged through the mud. Because what they're saying is, if he doesn't pay up on, what he owes, then they're going to go after her. Now, let's just keep it real. Gladys Knight allowed her son to use her name to get those restaurants open. It was her legacy that got those restaurants open. As a mother, once your child becomes an adult, you don't owe them anything. I'm going to say that again. Gladys Knight did not owe him anything. But being a mother, our child comes to us with an idea, and she was trying to allow him to make his way in the restaurant business. But she knew that, he probably needed a little help. He probably talked her into allowing him to put her name on the restaurants, and she did it because she loved him. No other reason. She did it because she loved him. It's not like she needed the money. Gladys Knight has been singing since the 50s. I'm pretty sure Gladys Knight has quite a bit of coins, but she wanted to help her son. So she let him put her name on those restaurants. And instead of going in there and taking those restaurants with his mom's name on them and just taking them, all over the country and making a big old franchise and a legacy for himself, he went in there. Books ain't right, shit ain't right, taxes ain't right, and they came after his ass. And now his mother has to pay for what he did, because more than likely he doesn't have the money. Now, this reminds me of the story that I did about sweetie pies, where Tim stole from his mother. Now, a lot of people, when I did that story, they came in and they said, well, Tim was just trying to further the legacy, and Miss Robbie is getting old and she knew about the other restaurants. You guys didn't pay attention to the video. Miss Robbie is not saying that, she didn't know about the restaurants. The main thing that Miss Robbie is talking about is he stole her money. He took her money. Again, Gladys Knight nor Miss Robbie owes these grown-ass men anything, people. These women are doing this out the kindness of their hearts because they're mothers. Tim's ass was in jail for 17 years. He gets out, walks into a thriving restaurant, and then he tries to take over. And he's slipping behind her back doing things that she is not authorizing him to do. We need to stop making excuses for these grown-ass men. Grown-ass men. If they were all that smart, in Tim's case, if he was so smart and he had it going on and all that, why didn't he walk away, go somewhere and open his own restaurants on his own? Show his mother, I can do this without you. Thank you for the opportunity that you gave me, but let me just walk away and make a restaurant without Sweetie Pie's name on it. He stole money, and she's saying that there's something not right about those other restaurants. So, again, I think those mothers have a right to say whatever they want or do whatever they want for children that they birth. Miss Robbie is not senile. She knows when she is not right. She was doing this before Tim was born. She had a restaurant back in the 70s. And she knows about accounts. She has an accountant that she sits down with quite frequently and goes over her business. We see that on the show. So she's very aware of what's going on. That man comes into her office. They sit down. They go over the state of the business and what needs to be done, where they are. And then Miss Robbie puts her books up and she walks away. So evidently what happened is when her accountant came in and sat down with her, something wasn't right with them numbers. They looked further into it, and then they found out Tim's ass was stealing from her. In Gladys Knight's case, she just simply said, yes, baby, use my name, get those restaurants open, and then you make your way in the restaurants. And now his ass, not paying his taxes and fucking up the books, and it caused those people to, turn an eye to it and see what was going on. And then when they looked at it, they found out everything with those restaurants, those Gladys Knight's Chicken and Waffles, as far as their accounts, was fucked up. Money wasn't right, nothing right. So they came in there and shut that shit down. Do you know how bad that makes Gladys Knight look? Because her name is on it now. Now he's just going to sit back and be like, I don't got it. And she had to bail his ass out. See, this is the problem. We are making excuses for grown ass men. Poor Tim. And then poor Shinga, that's Gladys Knight's son. And poor Tim, they were just trying to help their mothers. Their mothers were here making it, thriving before they were even thought of. But now their mothers are senile and old and, don't know what they're talking about. Miss Robbie is, I believe, in her late 70s. Gladys Knight is 74. Miss Robbie might be in her 80s. And now both of their sons, they're suing. Gladys Knight suing hers and Miss Robbie suing hers. And y'all say that the mothers are wrong. Well, some of you do. So with that, I'm just going to get on out of here on this story. And on to the next one. Y'all, I just can't with these grown-ass men. When I was reading the comments, and some people were making excuses for Tim when Miss Robbie clearly said he stole money, I was thinking to myself, what kind of people are you? A man that steals from his mother, and you're going to make an excuse for him? Come on now, y'all. Y'all need to quit. Okay, this next story is an update on Chris Brown. Now, I'm just going to do this update according to what I heard and what it seems like happened to me. This is just merely my speculation, and we'll just go from there. So, from what I heard, Polly Shortbread was there at Chris's house. She had managed to get into his inner circle, and she was at the house partying with them. Now, from what I'm getting, she got too close to a piece of jewelry that one of those folks had at the house and probably was asked to step back. They didn't know who she was. And she probably balked at that command, get away from me. And, being Polly Shortbread, she was running her mouth. And then eventually, probably because she was causing a ruckus, they probably just asked her to just leave. She probably continued on running her mouth. And eventually they went and got the owner of the house to ask her to leave, who is Chris Brown. Now, Chris Brown probably was asleep. He probably didn't know what was going on, or away from where she was and had no idea what was happening. He comes down. He says, what's going on? She, yap, yap, yap. Chris Brown is aggravated. He says, you know what? Just leave. Just leave. He probably didn't say it nice. He probably told her to get the fuck out of his house, which he has a right to do. She probably kept on running her mouth. He pulled a gun on her, said, "Bitch, I told you to leave." She decides to leave. Then, they said it was this whole thing that she wouldn't sign a non-closure agreement. They supposedly took her, what was it, her phone and her shoes or something. And eventually this bitch decided, okay, now I'll leave now. She wanted to leave then, but she didn't leave probably at the first command. Now she takes her shit and runs down the street and calls the police. And they come out, and then all of this stuff happens. Now today, we hear that Polly Shortbread has a warrant out for her arrest for, larceny. She's a thief. And she's created this whole firestorm. All of this attention on Chris Brown once again. Okay? Now, here's where I have a problem with everything. I wish that Chris Brown had someone around him that truly, truly cared about him. And I'm again speaking as a mother, and just seeing this young man constantly under the spotlight. And I'm not saying it so much as poor Chris Brown, oh, woo, woo, woo. I'm not saying that. Because I think sometimes he brings some of this stuff on himself, just by the people that he surrounds himself with. But I'm speaking as a mother. I look at, what's going on around Chris Brown, how he looks now. And he doesn't look healthy. He doesn't look happy. He actually looks like he's depressed. And I wonder what the people that are very close to him are saying to him when he wakes up in the morning, when he's trying to go out throughout his day. Is there someone around who pulls him to the side and just looks him in the eye just to see if he's okay, how he's doing? Did he eat today? Is he feeling okay? Is he happy? Is it anything that they can get for him? Not monetarily, not drug-wise. Just, do you need something to eat? Just take care of him. Keep these people out of his inner circle. Try to filter through who's coming in and out of his home. Now, I know Chris is a big boy and he can invite over whoever he wants. But sometimes you have that one person who says, you know what, I know the boss said this girl is okay to come in, but something about her is not right, so she's not going to get in the door. He needs that one person. And sometimes, you can pay these assistants and they're not really there for you as a celebrity. They're just there because you're a good name to have on their resume. They could give two shits about you. They just want to be able to say, I worked for Chris Brown. Chris Brown, again, just needs someone in his life that centers him, that cares about him, and that is truly, truly there for him. Because I think that if Chris Brown had that one person that he trusts, because I think Chris Brown is also dealing with a lot of paranoia, he is living in the shadow of what he did to Rihanna. And he's always going to live with that, people. To the day Chris dies, sadly, because he beat that girl up, he's always going to be known as the person who fought Rihanna. But he can get over that. He can live beyond that. He can get that stigma off of him by the way that he carries himself. Now, they may mention it, like in the future, but they would say it something like this. Chris Brown, he was that guy that fought Rihanna, but look at the stellar life that he's leading. Look at the changes that he's made. And I believe that if Chris Brown can get somewhere and just get to himself, go somewhere and find some peace, just some peace. Because right now his world is in turmoil. Every time that he turns around, probably to him, it feels like something else is happening. Chris Brown needs to take his baby girl, take just a few select people, and just go somewhere and just, de-escalate. Just bring himself down to him and get back to the core of who he is. If it takes him a year, 2 years. Being a singer, being a celebrity, means nothing when you don't have peace in your life. You know, if he stepped away for a year or two, maybe yes, he's going to lose the celebrity status that he has. But what he will gain, though, is Chris back. Yesterday, when I kept asking, where is Chris? Where is Chris? That's what I meant. I remember watching an interview that Oprah did with Whitney Houston. And Whitney Houston said that after she had became clean that very last time, that she didn't want to go back and sing, that she didn't want to be a celebrity anymore, that she wanted to just go somewhere to an island, just her and Chrissy, open up her little fruit stand and be selling fruit drinks. And Oprah laughed and, giggled and kind of brushed over it. But if you would have looked at Whitney Houston's face, what Whitney said is that she's been there, she's been everywhere, she's sang for everybody, and she's done everything. There was nothing left on her list to do. She said, in her words, and I quote, been around the world and yeah. That's what she said. And she said that that's what she wanted to do. That's what her spirit called her to do. Just leave everybody, go somewhere on the island where nobody knew where she was, and her and Chrissy just bum around and just be there. A few short months later, Whitney Houston was dead. And I only wonder, had we not pushed her back out on that stage, had we not kept expecting so much from her, had we not been so critical of her voice when she lost it, had we just let her go to that island with Chrissy, would she be alive? Would Chrissy still be alive? I think sometimes we put so much on these celebrities. We worship them like they're gods. Well, I don't. I'm past that. I'm older. But what we fail to realize and remember is they're just human beings. Chris Brown, and again, here I am speaking as a mother, is a young man that has suffered, after the backlash that he received from Rihanna. Chris Brown is a young man who's depressed. Chris Brown looks like he's dealing with substance abuse. And Chris Brown needs a moment to bring himself together. Chris Brown also needs a team around him that truly care about him. Because I don't believe that those people around him care about him at all. And I don't think it's going to be someone young that is going to be that person for him. It seems like because Chris Brown, he's not listening to his mother. He's an adult now. It would be nice if there was an older guy, that in his realm that can just step up to him and look him in his eyes and say, bruh, things ain't right. You need to slow your roll. You need to pull all this stuff in. And something in those words that older gentleman says hits Chris Brown and lets him know, I got this daughter now. I want to be around here for a long time. I want my career back. I want my life back. I want to get out from under the stigma of a mistake that I made. What he did to Rihanna, he has to own up to it. He did it. And I believe he did. He did his probation, his community service, and for all intent and purposes, the law was done with him. It was the court of public opinion that has dogged his life since then. Now, I'm not excusing him, not one bit, because if he had beat the shit out of my daughter, I would be upset with him. And I would think I would be upset with him forever. But he does deserve this chance to make it better, to atone for what he did. And every time I go to write him off, something about this young man won't allow me to do it. When I look at his face, something about him tells me that he's paranoid, He's depressed, he's in pain, and he has a substance abuse problem, and he needs help. So with that, everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, as always. And you guys have a great evening. Bye-bye now.